It's been a little bit over a week since the release of the Topps Chrome WWE Cactus Jack collaboration, and in today's video, we're going to break down all things sales when it comes to sealed wax, singles, and determine is this something that's going to hold value over the long term. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the Topps Chrome Cactus Jack, basically at WWE World and on the Travis Scott website, they release here a special edition of Topps Chrome WWE and a Cactus Jack collaboration. Fanatics and Topps did this with MLB Baseball last year at Fanatics Fest, but this is the first time that we're seeing it hit the WWE line. And for the first time ever, there are some big names in the set. And of course, like I just mentioned in this video, we're going to break down all the sales, see if it's really worth this price, and give my overall thoughts and opinion on it. But with all that being said, let's dive deep into the video. So before we get into actual cards, let's first break down what are sealed wax going for. So the sealed wax, when it was dropping in the EQL, if you're at WWE World or if it dropped on the Travis Scott website, these boxes are retailing from anywhere up to $400. Now, these boxes do not come with a lot of volume. There are only 2 packs per box and 4 cards per pack. So you're only getting 8 cards per pack. But this is what sealed wax is going for. All these sales are courtesy of Card Ladder. This is what I use when it comes to looking at sales, what's selling, what's moving. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. So, this just want to preface that as far as why I use Card Ladder. But let's take a look here at this sealed wax sale. So you can see here on April 21st, we had a sale for $900. We had April 24th selling for $800. April 25th, $831. April 28th, $800. Now, these are lower because when the boxes first dropped, these are going from anywhere over $1,000. This is a little bit lower because, like I just mentioned at first, they were only available in person at the WWE World in Las Vegas, but they then dropped on the Travis Scott website, which people are finally getting their boxes in. So I would think the price is going to be around this $800 range. Maybe you'll find a good deal, maybe, and I say good deal in quotation marks because I think it's still overly expensive when it comes to sealed wax. But you'll maybe find a box for $700 to $750, $750. But I think $800 to maybe $850, pushing the highest $900 is going to be what we see for sealed wax. Now, like I talked about in the intro, there are some big names for the first time hitting the Topps product line. One of the first names here is Stephanie Vaquer. So Stephanie Vaquer officially has base cards and parallels and autographs. I have yet to see an autograph sale of her yet, but her base cards are selling for quite a bit of money. So you can see here a 2025 Topps Chrome WWE Cactus Jack base card on April 28th, which is actually the day of this recording, sold for $203. And these sales are all courtesy of eBay. Again, this is all coming from Card Ladder. And then we had here on the same day, April 28th, selling for $225. So that is very, very expensive for a base card. But I think you got to consider is that these are very low print. I don't know the print runs yet. That has yet to be determined. But these were very low print, very hard to get. And even on the Travis Scott website was very, very hard to get. It was only through email sign up. I signed up for a box. Unfortunately, was not selected. So that shows why these prices are for these base cards. And again, this is the first time that Stephanie Vaquer is hitting a Topps product. She didn't have a base card in 2025 Topps Chrome. She didn't have a base card in Sapphire. So this is technically her first officially licensed Topps Chrome card along with her autograph. Again, we haven't seen a sale yet. But to put in some context here, so Stephanie Vaquer actually has her first official card with WWE in WWE Select 2024 Panini. And this is what you can see here from a base card. So anywhere up from this was like $34, $50, $50, and then we had a high jump here of $90. Obviously, I think that's because she's had a little bit of showtime on Netflix. So I think there's a lot of new people seeing her for the first time. There's a lot of WWE fans that don't watch NXT. So we're seeing a little bit of an increase here for $90, and I can also increase in here because obviously Topps and Netflix, they're promoting the heck out of Topps of WWE cards for good reason. They should be doing that. So we're seeing a lot of new faces watching the WWE product, and they're going to like Stephanie Vaquer. So they're going to go out and buy and pay at a premium price for a premium product. And keeping it with the women's superstars, another big name that is the first time hitting the WWE line is Giulia. So Giulia, again, like Stephanie Vaquer, did not have a base card in 2025 Topps Chrome WWE, but she has officially hit the Cactus Jack line. So you kind of see here, she's pushing around the same price of Stephanie Vaquer, a little bit lower on this sale. So you can see here, April 26th, we had a $250 sale, and then we see here a $160 sale happening on the same day. Again, she's just like Stephanie Vaquer, getting a little more showtime on Monday Night Raw and Netflix. So again, a lot of new faces watching the product on Netflix and are seeing Giulia for the first time because, again, I'm pretty sure a lot of people do not watch NXT. Now, when it comes to parallels, we are seeing it about 2xing here. So we see here a gold out of 50 sold for $575 on April 24th. And actually, as I was prepping this video, I went back to double check to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And we actually had a sale about an hour ago at the time I was recording. We see here an orange wave refractor out of 25. Went for best offer, went for $550. It was so fresh that even Car Ladder didn't have the sale registered in the system, so I had to go to 130 point because on eBay was showing best offer. But obviously, when you see best offer on eBay, if you guys don't know, that's not the offer, that's not the sale of that car, so you have to go somewhere else to see it. So I used 130 point for that. But yeah, you can see here again, base cards going from anywhere to, I would say it's gonna range from anywhere from 150 to 200, and parallels again are going to be ranging from 500 plus. And again, I have yet to see an auto of her officially hit and or a sale of an auto yet. And now going to the male superstars, we got Penta. Again, Penta, like Topps Chrome and like Giulia, like Vaquer, did not have a base card in that set, but he is officially hitting the Cactus Jack line. Have yet to see an auto hit be sold yet. I know Runs Good Life did pull a red auto, I believe, out of 5, yeah, on yesterday's break. So shout out to him for pulling that. I don't know if that went to somebody. I'm pretty sure it went to somebody. I don't think he pulled it for himself. I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. Don't quote me. I just saw a picture of him pulling it. But again, no official sale of an auto. But we're kind of seeing a little bit of a lower sale compared to the women. So we see here $150 for on April 27th, and then April 25th selling for $133. Now, Penta obviously is, again, a big name in WWE, even though he just made his debut. There's obviously the international background as well, so that he has a bigger market than a typical, WWE superstar. So this is the norm. I think it's going to be the norm for his cards. Again, low print run, super short print. These are what the prices are going to be. I've seen some other, standard WWE superstars that, they can go from anywhere up to $40 to $100 depending on who you're buying, who you're trying to get. It just depends who you're trying to get. So obviously the higher tier superstars are going to be ranging to the $100 range. If you're looking for like a lower tier superstar that you personally collect or think maybe can pop off, you can maybe find a good deal from anywhere up to $40, maybe even lower than that. Now, it wouldn't be a Cactus Jack set without some Travis Scott cards. Now, like it or not, I actually think Travis Scott is good for the hobby. I think he brings some fresh faces to the hobby. Obviously, Travis Scott has a big fan base, so there are going to be some, new WWE fans gravitating to the product. And, he obviously has shoes, he has apparel. What do those people like to collect and sell? They're going to add trading cards to that list. So we're actually seeing some big sales for Travis Scott, and we're going to talk about his autos in a little bit. They haven't sold yet, but they're going for some big money. But his base card is selling more than an actual WWE superstar. So we see here a Travis Scott base card on April 28th. Again, at the time I was recording, sold for $255. And on April 27th, again, his base card sold for $280. So seeing some big sales for just a standard base card of Travis Scott. Again, I think he's, say what you want about the whole ending. I know we talked about it on my podcast, link down below, collecting the 1, 2, 3, where we dive a little bit more into it. But I think Cactus Jack, Travis Scott is good for the hobby. I think it's good for wrestling. He kind of brings that big platform. Not saying WWE needs a bigger platform, but anytime you get fresh faces to the product, if it's trading cards, if it's to the actual product itself, I think that's overall good for the hobby. Same can be said for the other celebrities, ISO Speed, Kai Cenat, Logan Paul. I think he's good for the hobby. I think he's good for this, and I think I think these are pretty big sales as well. Now let's start getting into some fun stuff. Let's get away from the base card. Let's start talking some parallels. These are just some random sales again that I saw here on Car Ladder. So Bret Hart out of 10 went for $200 on April 26th. A Undertaker out of 50. He does have autos in his set as well. Went for $150. And then a Tiffany Stratton laser ray wave out of 20 went for $405. So you can see here, these are basically 2xing, 3xing base card sales. I honestly think the 50 for the Undertaker at 150, I think that's low-key a steal. Bret Hart as well. I know Bret Hart's not the biggest name out there, but there are some legitimate Bret Hart collectors. So I think a $200 sale. The Tiffany Stratton, again, it's Tiffany time always, so I'm not surprised by that price. I'm pretty sure like an out of 10 auto or things like that, I'm pretty sure that's going to be pushing anywhere up to $500 to $1,000, I would think. But yeah, I think these are just some higher price sales, and I think that is that's the price of Tiffany right now. Again, I think that's a steal for the Undertaker, and I think that's a pretty decent price for the Bret Hart. Now let's talk some autos. Now there hasn't been a lot of autographs, so there's been a lot pulled, or from what I've seen, there's been quite a bit pulled, but there hasn't actually been a lot of sales, and we're gonna talk about that here in a little bit from cards that actually sold. So we have here an LA Knight auto red out of 5 that sold on April 25th. That went for $412.83. And then we had a big sale here. John Cena black out of 10 on, and these are all on card autographs. This went for over $1,000. That's a big sale for this John Cena card. Obviously, John Cena, there's a lot of riding the hype. We talked about it in our podcast with Adam Gilman. If you haven't checked that out, link down below to the whole playlist of collecting the 1, 2, 3, where we talk about how the John Cena market, I think, is so low, and I think that could have even been even more, if I'm being completely honest. It's on card, a limited set. It's Cactus Jack. It's WrestleMania, and you can now tie this WrestleMania to, obviously, him breaking the 16th time record where Ric Flair's now a 17th time champion, considered the GOAT, the greatest of all time. I honestly think that's a low sale, if I'm being completely honest. That I think it could have, when I saw the card being listed, I was watching it, I thought I was going to push anywhere from $1,500, but $1,100, still a big sell for that seller. And yeah, just overall a great looking card as well. And now here are some autographs that haven't sold, but there aren't biddings, or they're able to buy on eBay. Again, these haven't sold, one, because they're high priced dollar cards, and two, these just hit the market. So I'm pretty sure once they get some more eyeballs on them, they eventually will sell. And obviously we'll cover that here on the channel, or the other social platforms. Link down below if you want to follow me on Instagram, X, Twitter, TikTok. But we see here Undertaker out of 10 Ray Wave, that's going for $5,000 or best offer. CM Punk Ray Wave red auto out of 5 that's currently at a bidding that's currently at $415 at the time of this recording. Tiffany Stratton auto black out of 10 at $1,750 with 38 watchers, again on card, no inscription like we see with the other Topps Chrome autos, but still on card out of 10. Really a short print set already. I think that's a very high price. And then, like we were just talking about with Cactus Jack and Travis Scott, how those autographs here are going to go for some money. So we have here an auto out of 10 at $14,000 or best offer. I wonder what this person, like, where does $14,000 come from? Like, I don't think it's a big number. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money. But I wonder, we're like, why 14,000? Why not like 15? Why not 20? I don't know. Because there wasn't any other sales of this card. So $14,000 is where he listed it at. And then we have here another one, an auto out of 10. This is currently at a bidding, ends in 5 days on a Sunday, and that's currently at $3,450. So again, we're going to cover all these sales once they do officially sell. I would love to add the CM Punk to my PC, but that's just way past the budget, so that does not fit into my budget, unfortunately. But these are some very big cards, very big high price listings, and it doesn't surprise me that they're going for that, and it wouldn't surprise me if they sell for that price. Now, what do I think about the Cactus Jacket? What do I think about these cards? What do I think about the sales? Now, for me, I like these cards. I think they're very big cards. It's a very fun collaboration. Obviously, we have the Travis Scott involvement in actual WWE storylines, and obviously Travis Scott has that partnership already with Fanatics, so it does not surprise me that he has his own products when it comes to MLB and now WWE. The MLB, those cards are going for some high price. I know baseball is such interesting because there's a lot of traditionalists in that sport, obviously, and in that hobby as well, in that sector of the hobby. So there was a lot of people who didn't like that set. Me personally, I'm a big fan of it. I like it a lot. I'm in my 20s, so maybe that says something about it. But I think they're very cool cards. I think they look sick as well. The CM Punk render is a very cool render. The 70-foot curve render is nice. The Penta set, the Giulia, I think they're all great photos. There's championship inserts as well, so those are good looking cards. I think the parallels are nice as well. So I think overall, from a appeal standpoint, they do it for me. Now, will these cards hold long-term value? That's to be determined. I personally think they will, and as I say this, it's not meant to be taken as financial advice. I'm not telling you to go out and buy these sealed waxes or joint breaks. There are breaks of this on Fanatics Live. I'm not telling you to go do all that. Please do your own research. But I think for me, if you're into like those investments, or you're into long-term value, I think it could potentially do that, because one, they're super short printed. There wasn't a lot of these made. Again, some of these base cards are not numbered, but again, you have to think about how were these cards purchased. You can't go to your local hobby store and buy this box. You can't go you can go on an online retailer, but they're going to be pushing $800 and $900. So they are very pricey. So I think you have to consider that. So I think overall, in the end, I think these will hold long term value. I don't know about the base cards. The base cards are a little bit tough because again, they're just base cards. What's really gonna do numbers are gonna be your parallels, your out of 5s, your out of 10s, and obviously your autographs as well. Because with those boxes, I'm not too sure if I said this, but those boxes, you're not guaranteed an autograph. So if you pull an autograph of a superstar, especially a big name like a Tiffany Stratton, like a CM Punk, like an Undertaker, like a John Cena, the names are like that. That's a big hit. So if you get something like that, you're doing pretty well. Overall, in the end, very fun set. I think it's very cool. I like it a lot. I'm a big fan of it. If the price is right, I'm gonna try to get some PC cards. You guys can see here, I kind of have a little bit of a mini John Cena collection, and I have a CM Punk collection. I also have my binder. So going to maybe try to find a CM Punk base card if the price is right. Hopefully it doesn't break my wallet, and maybe hopefully my wife doesn't find out about it. But what do you guys think about these Topps Cactus Jack WWE cards? Tell me in the comments down below. And of course, if you enjoyed this breakdown, want to see more of this, more sitting down, more talking WWE cards, please feel free to leave a like and follow for more. All my social medias are down below. And of course, if you guys haven't yet, please feel free to subscribe to the channel. That is a free way to help support my content and shows me that you guys want to see this moving forward. And of course, if you want even more wrestling content, you want to see breakdowns of Raw, SmackDown, and NXT and PLEs and more card talk, I do have my podcast that I host with my brothers called Collecting the 1, 2, 3. Link is down below, and you get it anywhere where you listen to and you get your Apple and Spotify podcasts. So I do thank you guys for listening and watching, and stay tuned for the next one.